Welcome everybody. This is the Day Trading Options Daily Review for December 13th, 2016. I'm Scott, he's Alan, www.wavesofprofit.com. We have a number of courses that will teach you how to trade using our Waves of Profit software. And the links are in the descriptions below if you're seeing this on YouTube, and in the comments below if you're seeing this on Facebook. So our goal is simply to show you that you could have made 10% in 10 minutes using our system pretty much every day that we check. Now there are certain days of the year that are specifically bad for trading, and we don't recommend that. Of course, sometimes the best trade you make is the trade you don't make, because we want to preserve our capital. But our goal is to show you that pretty much every day of the year that the market is open, there are opportunities for trading. And I always suggest to Alan that, maybe today is the day that doesn't happen. So Alan, what do you think? Can we make 10% in 10 minutes today?
Yep. And this particular day is just before Christmas, so you'd think, well, there's nothing really going on. Well, actually, end of the year can be big moves because investors have taxes to pay and things like that. Anyways, what we think isn't so important as the fact that the chart moves and that we're right on it. That's the important part, because thinking quite often gets in the way of success when it comes to trading. You should have a set of rules. So we're here today, we're just going to go follow the standard rules that we always talk about. So here we've got the indicators coming on. I got volume, the market, that's the black line here is running up.
We're leaving no man's zone.
Yes, and so we've already pressed the buy call now. So we're going to go forward 1 minute, and you're up 9%. Oh, and that was, can you hear me?
Yes, there is some talking going on in the background. Sounds like stocks.
Yeah, and that's because there's an alert bar, and if you have the alert bar, you can look at it and it'll tell you stuff that's happening.
So you don't have to be on your computer staring at the screen all the time. You just have to have your volume up, and your computer will tell you, hey, maybe you should take a look at some of these. That's
right. And so I'm going to turn it off because I left it on by accident. And yeah, the idea is that it's helping find things for you while you're busy looking over here. It's like, hey, over there. So here we are, we're 1 minute on Amazon. Yes, these things happen. If you join the Facebook group, you'll hear about it. It's like, oh yeah, 20% in 2 minutes. And there's days like that. It really does happen, which is what replay is for. So we're gonna go 1 more minute. You're at 17%. You're getting close to hitting a resistance line here, RB. Anyways, we just teach 10% or so. Shall I hit the sell now?
Yeah, let's get out. But let's move forward just a little bit and see, for those of us that are curious, if it would have continued to run, because it looks like it still has good volume.
Yep.
Nothing suggesting that it's going to stop.
Yeah, it's got the blue star, which is one of those, and it's got RB. It's one of those, So I'm just going to not hit the sell button. We'll just remember it was 937. And yes, it's still going. It's still going. And now it's coming up to RC. It's at 56%. Yep, it really can do that. And so you had clues that you might have wanted to hang in. That's for you to discover. The blue star is a caution that says, plus that, things could turn around, but it just kept smoking along. So anyways, I'm just going to close it, and then we'll go look at the next thing. And how far did it go? Well, you can see it was having trouble with that resistance line.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just absolutely only touched to the penny, the next resistance line, and struggled. That's why those lines are in there. So let's go to the next item we want to look at, which is Facebook. Lots of people know that by name.
Right.
Standard setup. What do we got? We got markets pretty green. Things are fine. You got some volume here. It's breaking outside of the risk zone. So I already hit the buy call.
It's on the right side of the benchmark.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Everything's looking pretty good. So I'm just going, and you can see it's gone sideways. You're not losing money. It's just going sideways. And the market's actually more leaning green than it was moments ago. And then boom, there's your 12%. You can just, I'm just going to say we're going to take it. You should check out the replay and see how much more you could have made or not made, and if, why you pay attention to these lines and when you don't. It's not that complicated, but it does take experience.
It takes practice. Like anything else, you need to master it by practicing it.
Yeah, and we won't let you, or me, do heart surgery on the first day. This is less complicated than heart surgery.
You just have to be able to be not colorblind.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So here's another setup. This isn't as good a setup because this trade's a little bit old. Because it came up, it didn't break the risk zone until here, but it had big volume. The market is the same time frames roughly that we're dealing with. It's already strong green. So if you missed Amazon or missed Facebook and you're going, oh man, I should have, sometimes there's a whole bunch of them running in the same direction. So we're going to go 1 minute. You're up 3%, up 19%, and you broke the resistance line quite nicely right here. Like, it didn't hesitate, it just smashed right through it. You could get paid or you can keep going.
Yeah. And in a real life situation, we wouldn't be trading one contract, we'd be trading maybe 10, and you might be looking at selling half at this point and then letting the rest run.
Yes, exactly. And so if we let this run, you can see it's settling in, and then it likes to be on the positive side of this line, and then off she goes. Then it comes back, but you see you're still in profit. So your second half, it's not like you're going to get all scared. You're going to be like, well, how's the market? Market's still green. The volume is fading. Oh, but there she is again. This is around the point where I'd go, maybe I'll just take this money because it went up, but it's having trouble keeping it. You already sold half, so you've already outside of risk. If I didn't sell half, then I definitely would have got out of there for half, because it's like, well, it's showing some weakness. I'm in profit. The whole point of this is to get paid.
And to keep your money. So many people will say, yeah, I ran it up to 30 or 40%, and then I lost 10 at the end because I just hung on and hung on and hung on.
Yeah, lost 10 because they not even break even. And it's like, well, when it starts heading down. So the minutes per candle I've got on the auto change, it switched up to 3 minutes per candle now because we're after 10 o'clock. And here we are at another one of those RC things. And this thing's still running, but you can see the market is falling off. It won't take long before Tesla falls off. If it were me, I always take the 50% trade. I'm just going to take that. And then we'll go forward and see how it did. Well,
good timing.
Yeah, you could have got back in here. I know people that do that, and I'll give one little quick tip because some people like these tips. Is there's a fellow I know that loves trading, not the front side of this. He likes it after it does a bit of a reset, comes close to here, the risk zone top. And then you can see here there's some strength in the line. He likes trading this piece because he's already seen. He doesn't have to guess. That's his caution. He's a little bit cautious. He likes the market to show him what the potential is. Now, the best dollars are in these moves quite often, and sometimes there's some of these secondary moves. But again, it's like once you've got the tools, you can adjust your settings the way you like to how you want to trade. So how'd we do, he says. Well,
yes, how did we do?
So that took 10 minutes, the Amazon trade. That was the first one for 56%. Facebook took 3 minutes for 11%. And then we hung around on this one for just under a half hour to get 56%. Now, is that normal? Well, define normal. It never happens in a bank. Never. You put your money in a bank account, you never get 56% in even 10 years. So,
right.
But the market does have these days. And so there's some days where there's a few of them running and they do well. Other days, there's not a whole lot going on. And so you, as you said, you don't throw your money on the table in hopes. You just keep your money in your pocket until you find a good trade.
That's right. And we're working on some very interesting ways to help you identify the good trades from the maybe not so good trades. And we almost like to call it a coach for you, but it's not a coach. And we're going to be letting you know about that in the next few weeks as we finish off our improvements. But we've had so many people that just say, you know, I just sabotaged myself. And we feel like it's almost like they need somebody on their shoulder to say, you know, what are you doing? Like, you're breaking your own rules getting in here. So we're working on making it easier for us to not sabotage ourselves, or harder for us to sabotage ourselves, because what we're discovering is the system works. The system is, once you're familiar with the colors and what different parts of the charts mean, and then you practice it, it really becomes obvious. But the problem is, when you start getting into it with your own money, we notice with a certain percentage of our students that it's just like they go crazy and are just throwing bad money after good, almost like a drug addict, you know. And not that they're not, but it's just inexplicable behavior. So we thought, well, how can we help everybody so that you're not sabotaging yourself, that you're protecting your capital, and you're becoming more successful? And we think we've cracked that code, and we're going to be sharing it with you probably within the next month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Have I said too much?
No.
Nope.
And just as one point, I know people, because we have hope, anxiety, and greed, all that stuff. Until you quell that, and you really need to, we think, oh man, I'm going to get in here. This is a great trade. Well, there's lots of things telling me it's not a great trade. I don't see any volume down here that's excessive. Yes. Where are we relative to the benchmark? Oh, we're on the wrong side. You know, but I want it to work. Yeah, that's nice. I'm sure you do want it to work. But, you know, reality is that's probably a bad trade. And that's what we help you identify, is like, no, just stay away from the crappy trades and you'll be doing way a lot better.
That's right. And we teach you one trade a day, and maybe there's 2 or 3 trades that you could do, or maybe there's 2 or 3 trades that you do. But the trick is, if you're only going to do one, then you're going to make sure that that one is a really good trade, follows all of the rules that you've decided you want to follow, and you go from there. And that's really important, because you just don't want to get into, 10 trades in a day. That's just crazy and unnecessary. So thank you very much for joining us. This is the Day Trading Options Daily Review for December 13th, 2016. He's Alan. I'm Scott. www.wavesofprofit.com is the website where you can take the courses. If you take the courses, you get 30 days use of the replay. So it's not live, but you're able to practice. And we expect that after 30 days of diligent practice, 24/7, you can do it whenever you want, you'll know if this is for you or not for you. There are certain personalities that should not be trading options, and you need to discover if that's your personality or not. And if it is, then if it is your personality that that is very hard for you to trade stocks, it's important that you know that, because then you can work to change it. We're not set in stone. Or you can say, you know what, there are easier ways for me and more natural ways for me to create my financial goals or achieve my financial goals, and go do that. We in no way, shape, or form think that everybody should be doing this. We think everybody can do it, and it's really up to you whether you want to put the time and energy into doing it. It's kind of like learning a new language. If you're going to go to Spain, it would really be helpful to learn Spanish, probably not very helpful to learn Japanese. And so you need to decide where you want to go with your life, how you want to accomplish your goals, and then look at options and see what really works for you. And we're working at making this the simplest, easiest, most effective tool for using options to create income. And we hope that you agree with us. We hope that you practice diligently, that you try it. You could be going to Spain. You could be trying to teach yourself Spanish, and you could have a bad teacher, or you could get a poor program, or you might not be practicing. And if you're not practicing and you're wondering why you're not learning Spanish, let me tell you, it's because you're not practicing. And it's just exactly the same with this. You need to practice it, practice it, practice it. And the beauty of the replay, which goes back, it goes back 2 or 3 years, doesn't it, Alan?
5 years.
5 years. You have 5 years of data. So you have every different type of bear markets, bull markets, sideways markets. That's only 3 choices you have, I think. And you can practice and you can get used to these different situations that you find yourself in. And you can do it anytime during the day that you want. So there's really no excuse. Put an hour or 2 of practice in a day for a month, and you will be an expert at this and well on your way to achieving your financial goals. So thank you very much, Alan, for sharing these 3 trades. We made well over 10% in mostly under 10 minutes. And thank you for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate having you along, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.